Gotta ask, have you seen this before? I bet you have. And I wonder if it bothers you the way it bothers me. Social media, video, in print, on the air, in person, somebody screaming and crying, where are all the good men? Why aren't there good men anymore? Why can't we find good men? I got an answer. It's really very simple. You know why you can't find good men anymore? Because you killed them. You started killing men by murdering them in the womb through abortion. You prevented good men by being born through the use of contraception. And for those males who dared to be born, you made sure they didn't become good men. You made sure by sending them to schools where they were brainwashed and then loaded up with psychotropic drugs and later with hormones. And the ones that you didn't literally castrate, you castrated metaphorically. Those who survived that process, you sent off to wars that didn't need to be fought. And then you ask, where are the good men? Stay with me, I've got a story to tell. Hi, I'm Jesuit Father Robert McTeigue, your host every day of the Catholic Current, coming to you from the Station of the Cross Catholic Media Network. Let's take a closer look. Glad you're here. Past few weeks, I've been giving some talks and videos about the pain and anguish and injustices suffered by men. And I've been overwhelmed by the poignant, heartbreaking responses, men telling desperate stories. And they said, Father, keep talking about this. You're putting into words what we've been feeling for so many years. And we want to believe you when you say that Christ can be the remedy. So let's talk about why there aren't good men. Well, like I said, we've been murdering in the room, contracepting them, destroying their childhood. We take healthy young men, we send them off to wars that don't need to be fought. And when the men come back from war, we refuse to hire them. We banish them from the workplace, from academia, from popular culture. We frustrate their aspirations by tolerating tax and financial and economic systems that make it nearly impossible to start a family, start a small business, and buy a home. And then we wonder, why are there no good men? Well, because they've been killed off, they've been contracepted, they've been emasculated in every sense of the word. They've been crushed. Their blood and their heart has been spent in wars that didn't need to be fought. Their souls are murdered again and again in family courts, as no fault divorce has made marriage an unenforceable contract. And for those who turn to Christ, we give them, let's just say, not very many good, clear, masculine role models in the sanctuary. We stifle their heart and their aspiration by giving them soft, sappy forms of worship, soft, sappier forms of music, banal preaching. And for those men who are struggling to do the right thing and paying the price to be faithful, think maybe if I look up to Christ, I can see a man who shed his blood for those he loved, who felt abandoned like me. And he looks up to behold crucified Christ, and he sees, jumping for joy, Jesus dancing in the end zone. And our men leave the church because they know that whoever Christ is, he cannot be the true Christ of God, the only Christ who can save them and heal them if he too has become reduced to merely the bearded lady. See, here's the paradox. We want men to do manly things like fight fires and fight wars and build roads. But we don't really want men because they will make a claim on us. They will make a claim on our heart and on our culture. And so soft men fail strong men by refusing to become the strong brothers, companions, leaders, and fathers that they need. And hollow, selfish women who've drunk deeply from the wells of critical theory and from secular feminism don't want to be the companions and complements and helpmates that good, strong men need. We want the lion, but we want him only on call, and otherwise we want him to be tame and we want him to be irrelevant. Case in point, a hallmark of the male psyche, an icon of the male soul, has long been leadership. Something happened, at least in the church, something happened in the 70s and the 80s. And I heard this from lots and lots of friends who were in seminaries at that time. And they talked about the servant leader. And there was lots of misty-eyed references to Christ washing feet and no references to Christ overturning tables, cleansing the temple, denouncing the Pharisees, confronting Pilate with the truth, confronting Satan with his divine authority, and even overcoming death in the face of apparent failure. And instead, he's just the nice guy. He is, as one pastor of a large parish told me, someone whose primary job is to call the meeting, put on a pot of coffee, and get out of the way. His primary job, as my friends were told in seminaries in the 70s and 80s, simply to be enablers of other people's giftedness. But what if we had the good sense to admit that we got it wrong? Rather than talking about the servant leader, distinguished especially by washing feet, we said men serve by leading. That would be very different. Let me give a quick example. St. Thomas Aquinas, when he writes about courage, fortitude, bravery, he said we think of it primarily in a passive sense. We think of it as just holding the line, not giving in, not yielding. But he said there is an active sense to courage, and he called it a holy pouncing. Now, I don't know about you, but I think a world would look different. I think it would look a whole lot better if Catholic men engaged in a good holy pouncing every now and again. I'm not a morning person, but I'd get up 2-3 times a week if I could be part of a good holy pouncing, led by a servant who knew that his service was to be realized, incarnated in leading. I have much more to say to that, but I'm bumping up against the time I allotted for this little project. So here's an invitation for you. I want you to join me on the Catholic Current at 5 p.m. Eastern on the stationofthecross.com, the iCatholic Radio mobile app, or your favorite Catholic radio station. And I'm going to ask, where are the leaders? And I will have quite a story to tell you then. Meanwhile, think on these things today, take them to prayer, and talk about it with those you love. Go in peace, and please do pray for me, for I am a sinner. Thanks for watching today. I release new videos on Mondays and Wednesdays. Check out the archives for more videos. You can listen to my podcast at stationofthecross.com, and you can find my written work at heraldofthegospel.org. See you next time.